Very good afternoon. In the New Businesses interview, today we have our guest Mr. Upaul Majumdar. He is head of practice tourism and South Asia with Dolma Consulting UK. He is also an advisor with the FNCCI Tourism and Civil Aviation Committee. So, welcome to the show, Mr. Upal.
Thank you, Madanji.
How
It's
are you?
always very good. Always a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think we should start with listening your journey so far. In especially hospitality industry.
Sure.
What inspired you now to take in Dolma Consulting? So let's start with that.
Yeah. So very early year of my life when I was in school, I decided to join hotels. So when I passed out from school, I sat for the All India entrance exam, and I was very fortunate to get selected at the Delhi, the Institute of Hotel Management, Catering and Nutrition in Pusa, more popularly known as
Yes,
Pusa
yes,
Institute.
of course.
So there I did my graduation from there, and then I was very fortunate to join the Oberoi Hotels as a management trainee in the Oberoi School of Hotel Management. In our times, it was known as OSHM. Nowadays, it's more popularly known as OCLD, the Oberoi Center for Learning and Development. So, went through the management training program, passed out as an assistant manager, worked with Oberoi Hotels. My first posting was Bombay, then Delhi, and the last year I was heading food and beverages at the Oberoi Flight Services. So I did a quick 7-year journey, Oberoi Hotels, finished that, and then I realized that I was a hardcore operations person. And during our times, life was very tough. We used to work at an average of 14, 15 hours a day.
Wow.
We never, you're lucky to get your weekly off, and no holidays, because holidays, hotels were more busy than on regular days. But thankfully, and that was one of the major reasons why I wanted to leave that industry, which I did. I did an MBA in marketing from IMT Ghaziabad in Delhi,
Okay.
and then I went on to work with the airline industry. But I'm very happy now that hotel industry also today recognizes work-life balance, and nowadays those days are gone where people have to work those long shifts and be on your feet all the time. So after I finished my MBA, then I joined the airline industry. I work with Jet Air in India
Okay.
in the corporate office, setting up various corporate standards for themselves across North India. That time, Jet Air was a private limited company. They'd launched Jet Airways. There were GSAs for various airlines like Singapore Airlines, Gulf Air, Biman, Philippine Airlines, Royal Jordanian. So all these offices you see of these airlines actually are Jet Air offices, and the people who wear that Singapore airline uniform and checking in at the airport are all Jet Air staff. So at that time, Mr. Naresh Goel was a visionary. He had just launched Jet Airways, and he wanted to bring corporate standards across. So I worked with him on that project, and then he took the company public, of course. And then Jet Air tied up with Air Canada. So I moved to the launch team of Air Canada. I'm very proud to say I launched Air Canada services in India as part of the Indian team in 1993. Worked with that airlines for about 2 years, and then I got very bored. So I went from a place of huge work to no work. And then and after that, I got into consulting.
Okay.
So I set up a company with a very senior colleague of mine from Oberoi Hotels, a lady called Nina Kocha, and we worked in the area of training for service quality and worked into service quality consulting.
So that brought you to Nepal, I think, with the Annapurna Hotel.
Yes, and so I did that for 16 long years, and then hotels was always our clients. But besides hotels, I worked with telecom, airlines, retail, healthcare, whole gamut of things, and suddenly we realized that hotels is the only business where the guest or as the customer is also known as the guest is always right.
Right.
But in any other business, the customer is not always right. You always look into what you can do, what you can't do. And then I was also working in other countries, and Bangladesh was one of the countries where I was working, and one of my clients was a real estate client, and they diversified into hospitality. I was advising them, and I got sucked into heading that company for a year, and I set up a boutique all-suite property in Bangladesh called Platinum Suites. So when I was setting that up, all under new things, multi-skilling people, recognizing youth, it was very, very different. And I suddenly realized that my first love was still hospitality, and I made a U-turn back into hospitality. And Annapurna was the second hotel client for me, and then I joined them. And I'm very thankful to Mr. Kapil Rana and Mr. Srijana Rana. They had a lot of faith and trust in me. They hired me as the CEO, and both the general managers of the Annapurna and the Fishtail Lodge used to report into me. And my whole job at that time was to bring Annapurna down and set up a brand new hotel. And we even tied up with a hotel chain. But those days were different, and the money was not there, and Nepal was going through its whole political turmoils. The constitution was supposed to come out in 2012, but that didn't happen. So a lot of things did not work out. And after about 2.5 years, I moved on from Annapurna, did some consulting, signed up a few hotels in Nepal, and realized that's the next best step for me. And while I was doing that, IHG, the Intercontinental Hotel Group, approached me and they said, "Look, why don't you work with us?" And I said, "Sure. What are you offering?" So they gave me an option. They gave me Indonesia and Nepal. And by which time I was already spent about 2.5 years in Nepal. And I'm very fond of Nepal. I think it's a fantastic country and great people, a lot of things to do and very hidden and undiscovered. So all that is a mixture together. And I said, no, I'd like to be in Nepal. And it was the Solti Hotel. And I had a lot of connect with Solti because Solti started off as an Oberoi hotel. It was in fact Oberoi's first foreign property.
Yes.
And they ran Solti for about 30 years. I'd come here as a young assistant manager on an executive holiday plan, and I was very wowed with the grounds, with the building, and little knowing that one day I would head that property. So when I got an option, I jumped at it, took it on, and this was in 2015, July, right after the earthquake. And so it was all rebuilding, re-energizing, getting things back. Great challenges. I loved it. I think I did a fairly good job, and did that. And then, very surprisingly, 2017, 2018, 2019, 3 years in a row, we were the highest revenue earners in Southwest Asia, which means as Solti, we beat all the India hotels hollow. And India has big ticket hotels.
Of course.
The Crown Plaza in Greater Noida has 390 rooms. They have big ticket. Crown Plaza, Gurgaon, Crown Plaza, Chennai, Crown Plaza, Ahmedabad, all very big items, but we were the highest revenue earners. So great challenges, did some great stuff, built in brand new revenue spaces in Solti. Solti was a big challenge,
Yes.
dealt with everything which was there. And and then we renovated, and all the time Solti was under renovation. So for a lot of my tenure, I didn't have all the room inventory available. But we did a great job. I had a fantastic team of people, great management, huge encouragement from the board of directors and the chairman of Solti. They're great visionaries. They run a huge balance ship. So I think it was a very illustrious time in my career, as I would say. And after that, the COVID hit. And then, of course, hospitality went down like anything. And in 2021, IHG and Solti decided to part ways.
Yes.
So that's why. So I was the last IHG general manager at Solti, and then I had the option. IHG transferred me to the Crown Plaza in Chennai, and I didn't really see myself going to Chennai, and I wanted to remain in Nepal. And that's when Joseph and Tim gave me this offer to come on board with them in Dolma Consulting as the head of practice for tourism, and I thought that's a very different
What
challenge.
exactly is your job?
So my job really is to work with tourism projects to bring tourism into Nepal, enhance tourism for Nepal. Unfortunately, because Dolma also has a fund, we do a fundraise, and we have different partners who give the fund. One of them put a rider saying that you cannot invest in hotels. Because hotels is very risky, especially 2021.
Yes.
With the COVID still going on, it continued till 22. It's only 23 that we started seeing recovery. And 24, of course, a brilliant boom year for hospitality. So I hope that will get revoked so Dolma can also invest money into hotels. That was the original objective of why I came on board. But besides that, we're doing a lot of work in tourism. We do a lot of reports for different multilateral agencies which fund tourism. We've done some work in green tourism, funding for MSMEs and SMEs. Then we've done some work in advocacy in getting the rules right so FDI can flow into tourism. But then we did some work even in sustainability, bringing those standards in, and working on all aspects of tourism. See, I've been in the 5-star deluxe space.
Yeah.
But now with Dolma, I look at homestays. I look at smaller hotels and smaller places. I look at village and rural tourism.
You look for the investment opportunities.
Not just investment, it's also about development.
Okay.
See, investment and
Development
development
means new building
means
construction.
bringing in competency in people,
Okay.
bringing in technology, making them understand what the world needs. How do you go ahead and do those things?
I see.
So a lot of work involved around that. Besides that, we are working on a very big project to develop the Karnali, which is the largest river in Nepal. We're doing a fundraise for that, which is on a PPP basis.
Okay.
So we are the guys who kind of put everything together.
Karnali means for hydropower or what?
No, this is for tourism.
Okay.
I represent tourism. Dolma, of course, has
Of course.
five segments, and one of the renewable energy. But in tourism, we are
In
trying
Karnali,
to
what will you do?
we are trying to raise a 650 crore fund, Karnali River Tourism Development Fund.
I see.
So through that, we will work with river communities. All those people are migrating. Work with that. Set up probably an ecological river tourism training institute. So
I
build
see.
capacity of people.
Okay.
Then look at introducing some things. So I myself didn't know of something called sport angling, which is very big in Europe and the US, where you literally go fishing for a day
Okay.
and you spend as much as you would do to play a golf game.
Oh.
Yeah, something like $250 a day. And Karnali has this fish called the masir. It's a very fast flowing river. So it's a game fish.
Okay.
So, and what happens sport angling, you catch the fish, wait, and then you release it.
Wow, very
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Okay.
So a lot of things like that. So
it's a new product in tourism. sort of.
yes, yes. So we're looking at various aspects, and besides that, of course, I'm working with several owners, helping them get the projects right, get brands into Nepal, because that's what Nepal lacks. Because when you are talking tourism today, it's global,
Yeah.
it's experiential. So how do you define that, and how do you market that to the world? I think that's a big gap area where I do a lot of work with a lot of owners.
So how do you see the current stage in the surge in Nepal's tourism and hospitality industry, because you are as an insider,
Yes,
you have a lot of
yes.
experience.
True. So what is happening now is that people, so this year, for example, 2024 has been fairly good with tourism numbers. If you
Okay.
see, if most of the industries in Nepal, I hear, are not doing too well.
Yes.
But tourism is, like the glowing industry in all of this.
Yes.
It's the silver lining in the dark clouds, if I may say so.
Okay.
And what has been happening is there's been a huge surge in tourism.
Yes.
And this surge is a lot to do. We haven't actually been doing too much of promotion. For example, the body, which is the National Tourism Organization, which does a lot of promotion, is the Nepal Tourism Board.
Yeah.
And that's been headless from January.
Yes.
And besides that, and before that also, there were some comments from the Auditor General, and they haven't been actually doing any international promotions. So it's quite surprising that tourism numbers we are getting are actually things which are flowing in our direction.
Maybe it is like that. If they don't work, then only tourism.
No, I don't agree with that at all. The more you promote, the more you tell, the more you sell. So it's been but tourism in Nepal has been all private entrepreneurship. So it's actually been the associations who have been taking the lead. So Skoll took the lead for Sateh, Nata took the lead for, and Nata and Pata, they took the lead for ITB. So the associations have kind of got together,
Yes.
and they've been booking space and trying to work in that through their members. So all of them, Pata, Nata, Hotel Association Nepal took a delegation to China. So a lot of these associations, which are all private association, private money, they have been doing things. So I think the credit goes a lot to all the entrepreneurship and the spirit which people have, which is leading to this surge in tourism numbers as we are seeing it grow month on month.
What is the driving force? I mean, for this steady increase in the tourism arrivals in Nepal, both from abroad and within the country as well. Is it primarily pent up demand from the COVID period, or there are other factors to play?
So actually it's a mix of both.
Okay.
There was a pent up demand from COVID period because people actually didn't travel anywhere for about 2 years, 2.5 years. So there was that. The other thing what has started happening is that the work life balance feature has changed.
Okay.
So today companies are more open to people actually doing work from home for certain days of the week. So they are okay about people logging in remotely and doing things. So that has led to a lot of travel happening, where people are going out. The other thing what happened, because you are forced to stay at home literally, so the family bonds increased a lot.
I see.
And today people want to continue that tradition.
Very
So
interesting.
today
Okay.
you do holidays with your family, or you do a holiday with your close friends.
Okay.
So there are these groups coming, short holidays, which are family groups, friends
Okay.
groups,
Okay.
which was not there before.
Very interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that leads to numbers, that leads to people going out together and things like that. Also, what happened during COVID, all families, lost some key member, you lost some friends, you lost some people. So there was a realization in people that life is actually very short.
Yes.
So I should do things which are on my bucket list
Okay.
and take less stress, less strain, and all. I also feel that everyone went for those vaccines, and today there are a lot of side effects from those vaccines.
I see.
A lot of people don't
Yeah.
feel too good about certain things, so they want to take less stress, less tension in their life, and spend some of their disposable income on actually traveling,
Okay.
because which is more of a form of relaxation.
Is there any survey or anything?
So these are travel trends, and if you see most of the large travel bodies which do these surveys and trends online, so this
Yeah.
is one of the trends which is leading to this thing. So it's not just pent up demand, but also the whole pattern of holiday making, stress relieving
So, do you
has
mean to say
changed.
that since there is no leadership in Nepal Tourism Board,
Yes.
if there were leaders, there was a leader,
Yes.
then the things would have been much better?
Of course, absolutely.
Uh-huh.
In fact, this is a crying need we are missing out. Because see, in Nepal we don't have any other body which does promotion. For example, if I compare with say Bangladesh or India, there is a state tourism promotion council.
Yeah, in
There is
every
a
country,
national
yeah.
thing. They have several bodies besides the private sector bodies. But in Nepal,
So,
we
this
have
is
focused
only
on tourism board.
sort of natural growth.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
So, do you think that this trend of increasing of tourist arrivals will continue in the near, medium term, long term also? Do you think?
Yes, yes. This trend is continuing. See, if you see tourism, you go through, areas where it starts going up. And the boom lasts for about 4 to 5 years. So we are just seeing the starting of the boom stage.
Okay.
And all factors and metrics all over the world is showing a boom.
You know that we have a huge constraint of international connectivity.
Yes,
Don't you think
yes.
this will impact this?
Yes, of course, it will. It definitely impacts. So, but what else is happening is there's a lot of tourism coming by road today, which
Okay.
we are not counting. But if we
Okay.
count
Road from especially India.
from India, even from China,
Okay.
today even on streets of Kathmandu, you'll find vehicles with Chinese number plates.
Yes.
So there is
But,
a certain influx which is coming in.
These numbers who come by the road, are they really kind of tourists who spend?
You'll be surprised. That's I'm looking at several hotel projects which are not in Kathmandu,
Yes.
but in border areas. I'm
Yes.
doing a hotel in Birganj. I'm doing a hotel in Bhairawa. I'm
Yeah.
doing a hotel in Nepalganj. I'm doing one in Butwal. And so, we had to do all the demand forecasting, and we had a team which surveyed and all. You'll be surprised that today what has started happening is there are many rich families which want to drive in their own car.
I see.
And this is a very big factor in India. In India today, you'll be surprised on weekends, the metro city hotels occupancies are very low, but all hotels on outskirts of the cities are commanding very high rates
Wow.
because people want to drive out.
Okay.
And to Nepal is very easy for Indians to drive into Nepal,
Yeah.
and they come in. And the other thing is that people want to have a weekend which they want to relax with family. So when you come into a 5-star hotel, most 5-star hotels in most border towns also have a casino.
Yeah.
So the men say, let's go drinking and then hit casino. The children want to hit the swimming pool.
Yeah.
The women want to go shopping. Maybe the goods are available in their town, but they don't have the time to go shopping.
Yes.
So they go shopping here.
Okay.
And then there are many small places of interest There are religious interests like small temples. There are hills. You know, Nepal is not a flat country. Even in the
Yes.
plains,
Yes.
you have a local hill station. You
Yes.
have something to do. So, you know, people come and enjoy that. And I'm
Okay.
seeing a lot of that happening even in towns like Biratnagar, Birganj, you know, Nepalganj. You'll be surprised. Nepalganj today has 8 hotels with casinos.
Factory areas like Birganj,
Yeah,
Parsa,
yeah.
there also tourists
Yes.
come. Is very interesting.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So you see a city like Nepalganj, all right?
Yeah.
It's got 8 hotels with casinos, all doing well.
I
Okay,
see.
and not one of those tourists come by air.
Yes.
The connectivity in Nepalganj, we come via Kathmandu, is quite bad.
Yes.
You know, in the sense the timings don't match. You'll probably take a hotel here. So that's all coming by road.
Uh-huh.
Now, unfortunately, we are not counting these numbers. If we count these numbers, and I'd request all state government, at least the chief ministers, the province governments, to take note of these numbers, because then they can add facilities, do some things which can make those people, you know, look better, and you can actually then divert investment in that direction correctly.
2 airports recently built in Pokhara and
Yes.
Lumbini,
Yeah.
and they are all not functioning.
They're not
almost,
functioning.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, how do you see that?
See, two things. One, people say a lot of things about the Bhairava airport.
Yeah.
But Bhairava airport, when it opened, it was doing several international flights. There were 2 to 3 foreign airlines flying out from there. Then government of Nepal cracked the whip, and Nepal Airlines had to do some flights, and Himalaya Airlines had to do some flights. So it's a absolute incorrect thing
So they
that you
didn't
can't
let it,
do
the
that you
market-
can't do international flights. You
Okay.
can do international flights, okay? And they were international flights taking off, landing without a problem. So one, I think, is that firstly the correct messaging has to go, you know, and those airlines which did those flights, we need to go back to them and say what were the problems, you know, what was the issue, why you decided to withdraw those routes.
I think one reason was they didn't have enough passengers.
See, passengers you will always get, because Kathmandu airport all flights are full.
Yeah.
All right, so I don't see, and a majority of those people are not only going from Kathmandu and the hills, but majority passengers are from the plains.
Yes.
So passengers, yes, maybe the loads were not there, but there were reasons for it. Like some of the airlines, you know, in some of our meetings were mentioning that the immigration facilities were not up to the mark. Some people were saying certain equipment which was required was not up to the mark. So what I feel that the government tourism body should take in all the stakeholders and find out from them what do they need to make it happen. Like Pokhara airport is a lovely airport, all right?
Yeah.
It does not have any border issues also, correct? But why international flights not flying there? And it has, whenever I land, I see this beautiful airport, I take a picture, post it on my Facebook account to tell friends all over the world that Nepal's got a fantastic airport. That is the only airport which has aero bridges.
Yeah.
Not been used till now,
Yes.
but it has,
Yeah.
and it looks like a beautiful, imposing glass building. So I keep posting. When I go to Pokhara, I take a picture, post it, and people say, "Wow, where's the airport in Nepal?" You know, and that's the only airport we have which has aero bridges,
Right.
but not functioning. So you know what I feel is that yes, the government has to do a lot of things, but tourism in Nepal has always been privately led. The private sector also has to get its act together. We have to speak in one voice. Now that if an international airport starts operating, it benefits the province or the state. I feel they should take the step forward. And of course, you know, we are having a lot of debate today in terms of, you know, our aviation bodies and things like that. So the correct messaging also needs to go. Today the messaging is not right. We have our issues. I don't say that there are no issues. There are lots of issues. But it's also how those are projected, how serious we are about resolving them. And that's where I think, you know, will make a difference. If those flights, if those airports start operating, it's going to make a big difference. You know, I met a tourism entrepreneur who's also an NRN, and he mentioned a very interesting fact to me. He said that the Nepal embassy in Bangkok in Thailand issues close to 800 to 900 visas a week.
Wow.
Okay, it means that those Thai people want to come to Lumbini, all right, that's why they're taking, and maybe they don't get visa on arrival at a border point, or maybe it's going to take too much of time. So if the Nepal embassy is giving that, so that data is available, it means so many people want to come. Now, if you have a flight from Bangkok landing in Bhairava, that flight is going to get full.
Yes.
800, 900 is a lot of visas
Yes.
which are going. So somewhere, it is, we have to get our act together. That's all.
Absolutely.
That's what I would say.
Yeah, very beautifully said. So, you have been helping establish new hotels
Yes,
everywhere.
correct.
So, how do you see the viability of these hotels, new hotels?
See,
Because some hotels are doing all right, but
Yeah.
many are not doing that well. And we have been talking about the connectivity, airlines,
correct.
and all that
Yeah.
issues. So, or is that Kathmandu is already in saturation point for the hotels? Outside the Kathmandu, it's okay. What's your take on this?
See, so it's a very interesting question which you're asking, Madanji. All right, and my views are quite different. I meet with a lot of tourism entrepreneurs and things like that. You see, today I travel a lot internationally also. See, the demand today is for safe, quality accommodation. And by safe, I don't mean safety and security.
Okay.
Nepal is a very safe country.
Yeah.
But safety is also a lot to do with health and hygiene.
Yes.
It's a lot to do with people having this fear that I'll fall sick. Like today, people have started wearing masks.
Yes.
Now you don't know whether that mask is going to protect you from COVID or not,
Yeah.
because that sanitizing of hand has gone.
Yes.
And maximum germs get into our body not through the nose but through the hands.
Of course,
All
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But a lot of people have that fear.
Yes.
So the other thing is that today there are global travelers. They're ready to pay for quality accommodation, but we have to be in a position to provide that. And the whole movement today has moved to branded properties.
Okay.
See, in Nepal, I have worked first with a property which is not a branded property, very successful. Then I worked with a branded property also, which is also very successful, which is managed by the brand. And there was a fundamental difference. When COVID started, the international response, the quick ways where to implement a lot of things, put in global protocols and standards were very, very fast.
I see.
So one is that assurance which the guest has that everything is perfect is the assurance given by an international brand.
Okay.
So those properties are doing very well. All right.
So, you are
So-
suggesting that the local brands who have no tie up with the international brands should have.
Yes. So one, you should have, or you have to say that I'm following all these international standards or protocols.
Okay.
So for example, I used to work with IHG. Now IHG had COVID protocols, but that protocol was not an IHG protocol. It was a protocol by a very big hospital chain from the US,
Wow.
which laid down these protocols. All right.
Okay.
In fact, I got those protocols, and I took permission from IHG to share it with all hotels in Nepal. And I done that at that point of time.
Okay.
And then we had to get those protocols certified by Ministry of Health.
Oh.
The Ministry of Health then referred us. They said, look, as a ministry we can't. They referred it to NAMS, which is the Nepal Medical Council.
Yes.
And I met them and they certified it. So I had certified copies. And one of the things which the tourism secretary at that time and the minister said was, you should be able to share it. And I said, absolutely, here it is. And it was shared with everybody. So one, it is very, very important for us that we are looking for international tourists. So you must have international standards to which you are certifying to, which gives them that thing. So one, that is missing, which comes automatic when you go with a brand. The second thing, very important thing, is your marketing and your ability to reach your customer in your target market. See, and this is what I tell a lot of my colleagues and friends in the industry. I said today in Kathmandu, if you take the example of Kathmandu, okay, today you're seeing so many branded hotels. Like this year in 2024, 4 branded properties have opened in Kathmandu.
Yes.
The Holiday Inn Express opened in Tangal.
Yeah.
The Lemon Tree Premier opened in Buddha Nilkant. The Hilton, which is opened in the
Narsal.
heart of Kathmandu, and the Holiday Inn Resort, which is opened in Buddha Nilkant.
Yeah.
4 branded properties coming up. Each has quite a solid target, revenue rates and all of that, which they will have to meet, Now, what happens is that when a flight lands in Kathmandu, so Kathmandu doesn't do too much of domestic tourists.
Yes.
For example, most people who live outside of Kathmandu in Nepal and who can afford 5-star hotels, when they come to Kathmandu, chances are they have a house. So they don't stay in hotels. But people from Kathmandu, when they travel to all these places, including weekends for holidays, they'll have to stay in 5-star hotels,
Yeah.
domestic tourism. But Kathmandu doesn't have domestic tourism. So it's all international tourists. It's all people from abroad who are coming. Now they all come by flight.
Yeah.
At Kathmandu by road accessibility is quite far. We don't get too much of tourism by road. So when the flight is landing in Kathmandu, not even 1% of those passengers are going to then start looking for a hotel. They've already booked their hotels. They
Yes.
already know where they are staying.
Yes.
So this market where the customer is making this decision is not in Nepal, is abroad. Now as a hotel in Nepal, how do you access that market?
Okay.
So with the brands, they have a lot of marketing and muscle strength. They have these loyalty programs, they give points, they do this, they run promotions, they promote a property, they do a lot of work, they got international global sales team, they do sourcing for business. So you're already getting a lot of business. Okay. So the other thing is your reliance on OTAs, the online travel agents. Now the OTAs, if you're an individual property, charge a massive commission. It's as high as 18 to 28% it charges commissions.
Wow.
Yes. And they make you sign a rate parity, which means that you cannot have a published rate which is higher than lower than what you are publishing on their site.
I see.
So if you go with anyone like Agoda, Booking.com, Expedia, Rate.com, all these guys make you sign a rate parity. So your published price cannot be high. Now that price at what you're selling, your yielding as a property is 20-28% less.
Okay.
Plus they make you do high-end photography, do this, put this together and all. And all these things are part of standard operating procedure for a brand. Now the brands are also on these websites, but they have done global tie-ups. So their commission rate might be as low as 10%, 12%, 8%, like that. So your yielding, you have to see where it is. Now, plus, Madanji, if you are traveling somewhere and you have a local hotel which has got very high ratings on TripAdvisor, and right next to it you have a branded property, international brand, with the same high ratings, which one would you choose?
Of course, the branded one.
Exactly. So this is what I tell a lot of my colleagues and friends. Now, what we have to also realize that Nepal has excellent tourism entrepreneurs. Many of my friends run excellent hotels. They do a great job. But if they would tie up with international brand, take it on franchise. The franchises are available today. You would get the access to that market. You would get access to those quality standards, and those guys would come into audits from time to time, which ensures that your staff also follow those standards. Not that we sign a document and that's it, and that document will be checked once a year for renewal. So this is one of the reasons.
Big five-star hotels of Nepal, old
Yes,
ones like
yes.
the Solti now.
Yes.
They used to have tie-up, now no more. And then Yaganiti and some other.
Yes.
They have not, even in the past they are no more with any international brand.
True.
So how do you see this?
See, Solti is a very established name.
Okay.
For it is the oldest five-star hotel of
So
Nepal.
for them it's not required.
No, not that. Solti has sales offices in India.
Yes.
In source market, Solti has offices. Solti has representation in foreign markets.
Yeah.
It is costing them a lot to do that. But that is why they're getting those numbers. The Yak and Yeti belongs to the Saraf group.
Yeah.
And the Saraf is one of the highest number of five-star hotels with the highest brand in India is with the Saraf group.
Yeah.
So, so these two hotel names you took, they are very much there. If you take another very established name on the five-star space in Nepal was the Shangri-La.
Yeah.
And the Shangri-La guys decided they need to upgrade.
Yeah.
And they went and they've now tied up with IHG and they're bringing an Intercontinental into Nepal. Everyone said Nepal was more of a higher budget market. But Intercontinental is a luxury brand.
Yeah.
And they're bringing luxury things in. So those are very experienced old hoteliers.
Yes.
They know their business inside and out. But they also see the trend changing. And they decide to go ahead with that trend. They could have easily upgraded their properties, still sold. But they feel that they're doing a much better job by going ahead with this.
You have been saying about the quality standard and all
Yes,
that,
yes.
and since you have also been from the Dolma Fund working for homestay thing also, right?
Correct.
So how are their standards and how will they maintain with the very low price, I guess, because 1,000, 2,000 rupees you can have a
Yes.
B&B plan,
Yes,
right?
that's right.
So how do you see that?
So I'll tell you some interesting projects which we did. We worked with some homestays. All right. Now what a customer wants is basic to be perfect.
Okay.
So for example, your bed should not have bed bugs.
Okay.
You should not have a cockroach floating around in your room.
Okay.
Your bathroom must have running water,
Okay.
and it should be clean and hygienic.
Okay.
So, so we worked with some of them, set up these as basic standards. And it's not they did not exist. They did exist, but people were not aware. So I went to this very interesting homestay, which is on the outskirts of Chitwan, and the whole village got together and they did this.
I see.
And what else they did was that they realized they're not a hotel. They are all villagers,
Yeah.
and they've given their rooms, one room in the front for the homestay.
Yeah.
So what they did, in the village square, they made a hall like an auditorium.
Okay.
It's made with mud, decorated with those pictures, but that's where they do the dances and entertainment and things like that.
Okay.
So it's about putting the community together and them understanding how it is.
Okay.
So for example, they had thatch roof. Okay.
Yeah.
Now thatch roof, there always will have gaps.
Yes.
Outside are all fields. Now at night when the light is on, all those insects will come into the thatch.
Yes.
The villagers don't have a problem.
Right.
So what they did was that they actually put tiled roof
Okay.
and sealed it,
Okay.
and then they put thatch inside.
I see.
So you still got the thatch effect,
Okay.
but you didn't have the insects coming in.
Very
And things like that. So then also, you need to have an inverter, like power goes off, but
Right.
the fan should run.
Yeah.
So you need to invest in inverter. Now where you keep the inverter, now most people keep the inverter in the room. Now in the room, the battery is giving off fumes.
Yes.
So we said, no, you have to keep the inverter outside,
Yeah.
but should be covered.
Right.
Then they set up toilets with proper tiling and put in a WC, a Western WC. So they were not aware of all of these things. But when these standards came in, it made a very, very big difference. So those guys are started doing well. And today there is a very vibrant homestay market where people don't want only 5-star hotels. They want to experience
The
village life.
Right.
You'll be surprised. I went to Bali last year on a holiday, and the travel agent was trying to sell me a big package. And I found this very common across all Bali packages, rice field package.
Oh.
So I asked the guy, what happened to rice field package? Everybody's selling rice field package. So basically, so there's a terrace there which is above a rice field. You lie down in a nice comfortable couch and you're just watching the rice field.
Okay.
And I said, what the hell? I mean, you come to Nepal, you come to India, you can see as many fields as you
For
want.
free.
Rice, wheat, jowar, vegetable field.
Yeah.
But then I realized that people have not seen that. So if you go to Europe or the US, especially Europe, you don't see these fields, So they've done rice field tourism.
Wow.
So in Nepal,
It's a new product again.
yeah, so in Nepal, people actually, some interesting, smart thinking entrepreneurs have started rice planting, paddy planting festival.
Yes.
So where foreigners get
That's
in
good.
shorts into the mud and
Yeah.
they are, transplanting those things.
Yes.
And that's become a big festival. It started picking up.
Right.
So, it's about us seeing where the gap is, putting that together. So some of those are interesting things which you do in Dolma.
My another question that I asked, second question was together with the first question. Is the Kathmandu tourism market saturated now, or there is still?
Okay,
lot
so
of
let me answer that in a yes and no.
Uh-huh.
So, is it saturated in the branded quality space where a customer is ready to spend more than $100 per night? There is lot of demand still.
Okay.
All right. Today you have properties in Kathmandu which don't sell below $160, $180 a night. For example, Hilton just launched. Their launching rate is $180.
Okay.
And that too, they're saying this is like an open inaugural offer.
Oh.
All right. And in the month of August and September, which are typically low months, July, August are very low months, lowest months for business. And they're launching it at that. So I expect come November when the season comes, I'm sure they'll be $200 plus. All right. And these guys do a lot of homework. They rely on a lot of data. They have access to all that data when they take these calls, But at that price point, for that profitability, at that there is a lot of demand today. If you ask me, is there demand at $200 plus? There's a lot of demand available, which we are not kind of taking care of. Okay. But as time goes by, you'll see all that coming. So there is the Hilton, the Marriott opened. It was an eye opener for everybody.
Yes.
Nobody thought Marriott will do these kind of rates. They didn't have a lawn. They
Yeah.
didn't have a drive and a sense of arrival, a typical sense of a
Yes.
5-star hotel,
Yeah.
which its
Long
competitors
drive.
had.
Yeah.
But it still did. It's still the most successful hotel in the country.
Yeah.
So it was about quality standards, maybe new rooms, larger size and things like that. See, typically in Nepal, because we did not have energy, see, till 2016, we were always short of energy.
Yeah.
So we built everything small because our problem never was to cool, our problem was to heat.
Yes.
So to heat, if you have large spaces, high roof, big room, it'll cost a lot to heat. But that problem went away. We got Nepal did a lot of work, got its hydropower right. And today there's no power cut, load shedding.
No, there is load shedding, especially in the factories.
Yeah,
outside.
factories maybe, but not
Yeah,
but
in
not
hotel,
in urban
yeah.
areas.
Yeah.
So therefore today you can actually build larger spaces. Plus brands are very insistent on energy saving devices. So actually the cost of operation of a branded product is lower than that of a regular freestanding product.
I see.
Yes, it is lower because energy costs are lower. They do a lot of work in workplace design. So therefore things are, just to give you an example, in when I work with some friends and they're making a hotel, so they have an architect. So I tell the architect, Vastu wise, that side water should be there. The water tank is somewhere, so your pumps and all are there. Then they will say, generator, put it in that corner because that corner, we don't have a neighbor there, so that smoke can come out, like that. So what has happened is now what you don't realize, now when you work with a brand, they have a lot of standard. They will put all these things together. All right. They will not agree, put here, there and all that. So Vastu, you get a consultant, he'll give you an Upaul for it. Okay.
Yes.
But everything is together. So when everything is together and everything runs on a central system, you just need one guy to operate the pump, start your generator, close, shut down everything. While in the other case, you've got 3 people because each of those guys are manned 24/7.
Oh.
So there's the concept of design where your whole premises is very, very efficient. Well, in other cases, it's not. Now what happens, they make a banquet hall, then this hall bada bana do, chota kitchen de diya. Now that kitchen tomorrow cannot produce, so food is being cooked in main kitchen, you got a big kitchen downstairs. Now to carry food from one floor up, you need 6 people. So every time he's doing a banquet party, he is hiring 6 people more just to cart food. So that's not adding paisa to your revenue. Now in a branded property, that will not happen. They will say, if this party has to cater to 1,000 packs thing, you should have premises at the same level which caters to this. You'll have a lift which can cart all the goods up. You'll have stores there which are there. So, so these kind of things.
So meticulously planned.
Yes.
Everything.
So these kind of things is what happens when you put a brand. So a lot of people mistakenly say, a brand daloge, your cost will be much higher. Your initial costs are higher because you're putting everything planned. But what happens is that your running costs are much lower.
I see.
So your profitability is much higher for a branded product. They're far more efficient. So this is the kind of things, Now it's not that. Even an unbranded product, if he uses the right architects, the right consultants, he can also have the same thing. It's not that he can't. The technology is available. But there's nothing binding on him to do. And he also says, oh, why should I pay 1 crore to a consultant? I'd rather use local 20 lakhs. My brother's father's son has got something. Let us do it using that. But that's today changed. Today it is about specialization. Today there is a lot of technology in. A technology decision is very expensive. And how you're putting that together. The environment laws, for example, are becoming stricter and stricter. So today you can't just leave waste, even air, in the air. You're liable to put in a catalytic converter, then you have to take that right up to the building to release it. Now if you haven't done all that because you can get away with it today, then tomorrow you have to pay. So there are these kind of little issues. Also, people, today the young workforce is not going to do anything. They also want a work-life balance. So do you have a nice cafeteria for them? Do you have a nice relaxation area for them? In most places, cafeteria is one bench, kitchen is just giving food. It's just about eating food. It's not about that. That's the place where he wants to, a television set is there, a relaxation place is there. So today you have to cater to all these, and what brands have done, they made these absolute important.
Okay.
So about 30% of your space is back of the house, which is not earning revenues. But due to that 30%, the 70% area which is front of the house, which are revenue earning areas, are giving you far higher return per square foot.
Wow.
Now, moment owners understand this,
Uh-huh.
they will not going to, they are not going to compromise on those things.
Very interesting. I mean, you talked about this rice field. It was very
Yes.
interesting example.
Right.
So, is Nepali tourism industry offering the right products to attract the more tourists, and what improvements are needed to sustain growth in the long term?
So, if you ask me, the product exists. Okay. The product exists.
Product is there.
But we are not marketing it, we are not telling. Even domestic tourism. Solti set up this hotel in Nepalganj.
Yeah.
So I used to go quite often to Nepalganj, helping them out in doing. And then I said that besides the casino, what else can you do in Nepalganj? You'll be surprised, there is a black buck sanctuary. Madanji, you're a journalist, you've been traveled the length and breadth of this country. But I don't know if you know this or not, there is a black buck sanctuary, it's called Krishna Sar. It is about 45 minutes to 1 hour drive from Nepalganj.
Yes.
And it's a sanctuary by which you walk through
Yes.
and you find the black buck. And the black buck herds, there is only one male black buck which is black in color. The rest of the deer are all brown in color. It's a beautiful walk through place, very nicely done and all. But a lot of people don't know about it.
Right.
There was this canal linkage, and there are some crocodile farming things there, but people don't know about it. So when you go to a place, there's a lot of local things there, which is there, but we are not put in a package together, we're not marketing it correctly and all. While there are some individual travel agents who are doing that, but that's one very few. So most of the time we're just looking at a place, go somewhere, eat, drink, and make merry. So you have a nice swimming pool, spa. So the same thing. Now if you're in Kathmandu also you can do the same thing, no?
Right.
Today hotels in Kathmandu are not doing staycation packages, but you see India where demand supply is very, very high, Bangladesh, Western countries, in the weekend when they don't have much business, they announce a staycation package. They say come, stay in the hotel, you eat food, drink, use the entertainment facilities, swimming pool, spa, and then go back to your house on Sunday night or Monday morning.
Right.
You still enjoyed,
Right.
and you don't have to travel out of the city.
Right.
So you don't have any travel hassles, no packing problems.
Yes.
Just carry a few clothes in a bag and you're having a good time. So those kind of things are there. Plus what is happening is that there should be a lot of knowledge and education of tourism entrepreneurs to understand that what I'm selling is a perishable product. If today I have 4 rooms empty, I can never sell them
Yes.
in my lifetime.
Time gone is
Gone.
Yeah.
So what happens with hotel brands is that they have international revenue managers who are looking at things critically, and then they start pacing the inventory. It's like airlines, the same flight, a passenger is paying 4,000 rupees, another guy is paying 24,000 rupees.
Yeah,
Alright, so they pace that inventory. So they need to start looking into things like this. They need to start collaborating more rather than saying, I've got a hotel, come and stay. If I know you, I'll give you 500 rupee less. That's not how it works.
Right.
So those kind of things have to come in. Today there's so much of technology. How do you have a Google marker for your place or not? How accurate is it? When you Google mark there, do you connect to a Google ad which is going to say what all you can do? And all those activities should be done by the hotel.
Yeah.
Not saying, yeah, you can go there. Yes, we have a wildlife sanctuary, you can go there. The hotel should have a package. When the guy checks in, he says, sir, what are you planning to do for the next 2 days? I've got this, I've got this, I've got this, I've got this. And the rate I'm going to give you is better than what you can buy anywhere in the market.
Right.
Because when a tourist goes to new town and he goes to ask, even the vehicle guy will charge you a higher rate than a local.
Yes.
So you call a local and say, can you get a car for me? For example, I want to visit this temple.
Yeah.
But the hotel should be doing that.
Yes.
So today those are incremental revenues. So those are things which need to get driven, and hotel has to understand, because I am from hotels, that you got to be the fulcrum for developing tourism. There was a mayor in Nepalganj who said, I'm going to make this into a casino city. He went to every owner, told them they upgraded the hotel, so whatever they were to a 4-star hotel, to get a casino in. Right. And then they facilitated with all the authorities that from the border you don't hassle these people and they're coming for the casinos. So like this, you'll have to see local level what facilitation you need to do. For example, if a person is going to, you want a busload of tourists, are going to travel in 1 hour to go to a place to do darshan maybe somewhere. Do you have toilets there or not? So what all the local administrations do, put a toilet. Put a charge on it. Say, I will charge you 10 rupees for using urinal. Alright. Now, maybe a local will say, fine, I'll go in the bushes and pee. Why will I pay 10 rupees? But a tourist will pay that.
Of course.
So, you have to have the facilities, charge for it, but make it happen. And these are very simple things, you know.
So, while we talk about the product, you mentioned that it is, I mean, the locals, especially out of Kathmandu, many
Yes.
can offer, create many products.
Yes.
So, how about the Kathmandu hotels? Do they have different
Same.
products?
The same thing applies to Kathmandu hotels. Today, if you go to any 5-star hotel and you say, I want to do city sightseeing, what can I do? They will probably give you a map and tell you, talk to these 2 travel agents. You know, but the hotel is not organizing anything.
Okay.
You know, they had started a what you call this hop on, hop off bus, ho bus, you know,
Yeah.
blue colored bus was doing that, stopped.
Okay.
But, you know, somebody started it. There was a night party bus where it was a moving restaurant. But these have to get promoted by hotels, by local entrepreneurs. And those all are incremental earnings for you.
Okay.
For example, if a guest says, I want to buy some local handicraft, where should I go? People say, go to Thamel. The moment a tourist lands up in Thamel, even if he tries to speak some broken Nepali also, they will fleece him.
Yeah.
Right? Now the same thing is available, half the price we goes to Bugmati or we goes to New Road.
Yeah.
So hotels have to be able to facilitate these kind of things. They should say, sir, I've got a walking evening package where, you know, you walk these various buildings. Do you have that or not? You know, so we have to create things like this.
Maybe even they don't know there is Basantapur, the vehicles are not allowed, or go to some temples,
Yes.
Krishna Mandir,
Yes.
have some local bara. things
Exactly.
like- yeah.
So today, you know, we are not doing all of these things because we are still very used to a foreign tourist coming who already knows what he's doing. He's got a qualified travel agent. He's bought a package. He knows exactly what he's going to do. Your highest arrivals are from India. You'll be surprised, most Indians holiday who are coming to Nepal, they probably planned it in the last 10 days. We should have data like this to find out.
Right.
So if they're taking a short this thing, they've not done all this research to find out all of this. While a Westerner, because there your holidays are very limited,
Yes.
he will plan 1 year in advance, 7 months in advance, he'll do all his research, he knows exactly what he's doing and he's got a timetable, tick, 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 tick. Indian guy is nothing, they'll just land up. And we'll say, sir, eat, drink, make merry, that's it.
We discuss about the products. How about the you know, your thought on tourism marketing efforts? Like, are there areas that need improvement, or you mentioned many things, but in terms of marketing, do you think that the current tourist arrivals trends are occurring despite limited marketing?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. See, currently we don't have a functional national tourism organization.
Yeah.
The country is sold by a national tourism organization. Then today all your marketing today is in the digital space. Big companies are now engaging with their customers in a digital space. So today all that we are doing is on an individual entrepreneurial basis. And there you have a lot of limitations.
Yes.
For example, I don't know if any of our tourism associations have a digital promotion plan and strategy. They have money. So money is not a problem. So they should promote all their members.
Right.
But I don't think that is in place. So that needs to get done. Also, we need to understand that if we don't have the capabilities, we need to outsource it. Alright, there are countries today which have come on to the national, international tourism maps. I'm talking about the erstwhile
Vietnam, Laos,
East Asian, no, even the East Asian countries.
Okay.
There are a lot of business which is going to smaller places like Azerbaijan, Baku, all these places. Who knew about these places? Nobody. Even when it was part of the Russian Federation, you didn't know. Today, these are hot destinations.
Yes.
And how is it happening? They are not spending millions of dollars because they don't have, they're also all small individual entrepreneurs, not very many branded properties in these places. But it's all happening in the digital space. They hire top quality international digital marketeers, they pay them that dollar money, and then they start seeing all those numbers coming. So that's what I mean by collaboration. See, though we compete against each other as hotels, say, you know, every hotel competes each other, but together if you can pull in higher numbers, then you don't have to
promote the destiny.
Yes, promote the destination.
Yeah,
exactly. And we can't just keep blaming the government not doing this or that. what are we doing, you know? Because if my destination improves, I get a share of that. And also the other thing what we don't do is that, for example, if you see our tourism numbers, number one is India, number two is China, number three probably is Germany or UK, then Sri Lanka, all right? Now, these four countries, if I want to have English food for the English restaurant, do I have that in Kathmandu or not? I want to have Indian food in an Indian restaurant, not in a five-star hotel. Do I have that or not? I want to have authentic Chinese food, not in a five-star hotel. Do I have that or not? You know, I want to have some German food. Do I have that or not? So when I'm talking about things like this, it goes much beyond just a hotel and its environment. You know, today you'll be surprised, as a five-star hotel of a branded chain, I actually promote local restaurants, not just my hotel restaurants. I have to have a menu, and this is mandated by the brand standards, where you need to give customers a local experience, and you have to say, sir, these are the local restaurants which are available. Now, if I'm going to promote a local restaurant, means that guests will go there and not have dinner in my hotel restaurant. But I have to do that because that is a need of the customer and the guest.
Wow.
Yeah, and this is what I'm talking about. So today, if we want quality tourism to come, there's much more we have to do than just harp about infrastructure not good, this not good, that not good. But so many things we can make it happen, but we're not doing that.
You know, do you think that it is now time for Nepal to, you know, change its brand positioning, moving from Shangri-La image, you know, to beyond that?
Yes, of course. See, today, for example, I tell a lot of my friends from India that, you know, you have one of the top clubs, LOD. You don't have a club, such a big club in India. Tell me which one. Come to Nepal, I'll take you partying. So I have today a lot of youngsters who are not interested in religious mountain. They say, we want to have a chill weekend. They call up and say, uncle, we want to have a chill weekend. First I tell them, don't call me uncle. I will take you out for a chill weekend. And all I take them is to there's so many pubs, restaurants, LOD, they dance a night out. They have a great time and they come back and they said, wow, Nepal really changed. And when they start posting those in their social media, they make Insta reels and put it on that, there are a lot of their more other friends who want to come.
Far more promotion of the destination than anything else.
Yes, and today, you know, customers do self-promotion. So, for example, how many hotels have a selfie point? I went to Indonesia, Bali last year. Every tourism place had one selfie point. Or one place was promoted, sir, this is a very good selfie point. You know, so you say, oh, is that so? Let me take a picture of selfie point. And you put it promote it, you know. They had a place where there were these monkeys. So you had to feed the monkey. Okay. Now, हमारे यहाँ तो monkey ऐसे ही you are feeding free. So they made it think that guy was standing there, says, I'll take a picture with you. Now he charge you some little money for feeding the monkey, like the food. And then he said, sir, you know, for upkeep of monkeys, if you give something, it will be very nice. So you say, yeah, sure, here's some money. So that guy, just by taking a picture of you next to a monkey,
so whole ecosystem of you know, tourism. That gets
so this kind of thing we have to work towards doing, and this is where we can educate people to do something like that.
What are some of the biggest challenges for the new hoteliers, you know, those who want to establish a new property, because you have been working in this?
See, today one, the cost of finance is very, very high. All right. We don't, for example, tourism is something which we promote. Every government says that we are promoting tourism, but we don't have. So it's a sunshine industry for us. You know, it's the only industry where people from abroad come with money and leave it in our country. All right. No other business is like that. But we don't have anything for those people. For example, there is a lot of international funds available who want tourism promotion. So if the government were to tap that, they can subvent the interest. So for example, if you take a thing for a tourism project, you should get loans at 50%. And that 50% is shared by someone else. So the banks are not making a loss. Today we don't have anything like that. So one is the cost of that. The second thing is, to promote tourism, we have to grow infrastructure. I need to have a quality vehicle. Now, I don't understand the logic that whether you have a 50-room hotel or you have a 250-room hotel, you still get only 2 vehicles at the lower rate. You know, that defies logic. So if we can provide a vehicle at a lower rate, a hotel which has 250 rooms should have 5 vehicles maybe at a lower rate, you know. So there should be incentivization for that.
Right.
The other thing, this country needs foreign exchange. We are fortunate that we have huge remittances, so Nepal gets a lot of foreign exchange,
Yeah.
and we don't have a balance of payment crisis like say Sri Lanka had, for example.
Yes.
All right, but today tourism can get you a lot of tourism dollars.
Yeah.
But where is the incentivization for the people who are earning those tourism dollars for you? For example, you need to upgrade your capital goods. They need a lot of heavy dose of capital investment. Today what has happened, a lot of the old hotels which are 15, 20, 30 years old, they, over a period of time, the product looks very dated.
Yes.
Because they have to earn money, pay
Yeah.
staff, handle the COVID losses and reinvest in their product. So the product fails. Now, so many countries, because who are very high on tourism, they say 20% of your foreign exchange earning, you can import goods duty free of capital nature.
Oh.
But goods of capital nature, which means it's going to asset renewal, it's going into import of new technology, is going into increasing infrastructure within the hotel, so that you can import duty up to limit is 20% of your foreign exchange earning. Now things like that you need to do.
Right.
Today we are, for example, government of Nepal, it's not they don't know about it. They are, giving incentives to exporters.
No, my.
They are giving something to IT sector.
Okay.
But they are not doing anything for the tourism sector.
That's fine. My question was also on the challenges. If you want to open a new hotel,
Yes.
what are the challenges that he or she has to face? For example,
So
maybe the
permissions and licenses.
license.
Yeah, see, one, land cost in Nepal is very, very high.
Right.
All right, but for a small country, it will be like that.
Okay.
But besides that, permissions. There are so many permissions. You don't have a single window clearance. You even in Kathmandu itself, in Kathmandu and Lalitpur, there are different rules and laws for buildings, for hotels. There are different rules. What is the height you can do? How much of FAR you get? There are different rules. All right. Also, we have to go into many of those rules which have been made to see does it work or not. I'll give an example. Today, internationally, if you have a high-rise building, you should leave a 6-meter setback. And the reason they have that setback rule is so that fire tenders, which can go and go up to 30 stories, 25, 30 stories, they have free access.
Yeah.
Now in Nepal, we put that rule in and say leave 6 meters setback, but we don't have a single fire tender which can fight even a 10-floor store fire. So what happens is, and I've been dealing a lot with hotel design, brands and all. So today an international hotel will insist on fire life safety where they have 100% resources to combat a fire inside the hotel without depending on external resource at all.
I see.
Alright, it's designed like that. So if you have that norm in design, you can give them little leeway, let them build a better building instead of leaving so much of land empty. And later those land gets covered up because it's not needed.
Yeah.
So in any case then enforcement doesn't happen. So we need to be aware. The other thing what we need to do is that we need to of course have low cost funds available in terms of FDI. Today for example, to bring FDI for tourism, there's a lot of money available. People want to invest in tourism in Nepal. The rules are very, very tight. To get clearances is a nightmare. And once the money comes in, to get released from the bank is another nightmare. So today, we don't have so much of money to fund our infrastructure to get a quality hotel. There are international players available.
Yeah.
And they see low risk because your hotel is earning foreign exchange. You're quoting today a dollar rate.
Yeah.
So even if you get money in NPR, you're still hedged against a dollar equally,
Right.
So we should make very simple rules for FDI to come in. As long as the KYC is in place, so you're not getting slush money, you're not getting, whitewashed money, laundered money. So you have strong KYC, so no those rules. But after that, you should allow investment very easy. But that has not happened. That should happen. And that should make a lot of difference. Also what happens, for example, you take a loan today from a bank and tomorrow your economy starts doing well, the interest rate will go up. But when you take international loan, the rate is fixed. Your returns are fixed. So your projections are fixed. So those kind of benefits, if they can get, will make a lot of difference. And the speculation will go out.
Right.
See, today investment in hotels, a lot of it is speculative.
Yes.
And as many success stories are there are more failure stories. Where
Right.
people set up hotels and middle they realize they didn't have the money
One
to
of the
complete it.
reasons, as we came to know that many such new hoteliers, they get the bank loan
Yes.
in the much appreciated price.
Yes.
Then they misuse that money somewhere else. So how do you see that? I mean, is that happening?
See, that is maybe very few cases. See, what happens is that they don't have the right consultants.
I see.
See, either you know everything, then it's very good. You're a seasoned hospitality player, you know exactly how much money I put, how much return I'm going to get. If you're a first time investor, you should have the right advisors. So what happens in Nepal typically, and I face this a lot, I meet a lot of owners and they say, Upaul, I want to do a 5-star hotel, 100-room project. What is my cost per room going to be? And I always tell them, I said, sir, that's a very wrong way of looking at a hotel project. He says, why? I said, sir, I will ask you, what is the size of your room? Is it 28 square meter? Is it 30 square meter, 32 square meter, 34 square meter? He says, Upaul, why are you talking like that? I need to make a 5-star hotel. I said, sir, all these sizes are 5-star hotel.
Yeah.
Now, if your room is 28 square meter or it is 34 square meter, your cost of your facilities are going to be much higher.
Yeah.
So they said, oh, I understand. I said, then you have to see what all facilities are you putting, how much banqueting space are you needing. If you put a large banqueting space, you need to have large kitchen space, large storage space, large staff locker space. Now, all that has nothing to do with your 100-room hotel.
Yes.
So your cost per room is the wrong thing. So what I always tell people is you have to look what is your cost of your GFA, your gross floor area. How much area are you constructing? And then you put in the ballpark figures. So when I apply those ballpark figures, they say, no, yeah, this cost is double. I'm speaking to my architect, I'm speaking to so and so, they are telling me half cost. And I say, sir, you have to understand, if you're going to make a building which is 90,000 square foot, or you're going to make a building of 125,000 square foot, your cost is going to be proportionately that much higher. It has nothing to do with 100 rooms, 1 crore per room, 100 crore. It's not like that. So a lot of people start off a project. They have people who are advising them who know it will not finish in this, but they say, we tell him the real figure, he won't start the project only. So let him start, and then it becomes like an endless thing. You keep putting in money, keep putting in money. The other thing is, and this is what I advise a lot of my clients, have 100% of your drawings from all consultants together. People say start construction, you'll finish fast, then the drawings keep coming, then there's a clash. So you made something, you break it and make again. You've done something, later it is not tallying, so you change. Now when you spend money on each of these things and time, that cost escalates the cost of a project. So that is where, new hotels, many of the owners, they make these kind of mistakes, which are very, very costly.
Right.
And then he says, whatever it is, let me get another partner, let him put money, open the hotel. Till it's not open, his interest cost he's paying out every month.
Right.
This is very unfortunate, but this happens a lot in Nepal.
When we talk about the hospitality industry, how do you see the current state of it? I mean, what trends do you foresee in the coming years?
See, the trends which I see is people are becoming smart. There's a lot of young generation coming into the second generation coming into those hotels. They've got different ideas. They are connected. Many of them have studied abroad. They have their own connections, and they're making these changes, which is happening. So the industry is doing well. Owners have also understood all these things which I'm saying is something which every owner understands and is working towards. So those things are changing. There is a lot of effort in understanding what is there and make those differences. Today is very difficult to get staff even in Nepal.
Yes, I was going to ask anyway.
So today people have started keeping their people happy. They realize I need to be able to give this.
Many hotel management training center have already existed, and
but they are
must
all
be
training
supplying.
people for abroad.
Okay.
If you look at any hotel management college, very few of them say, I will give you a job in Nepal. They say, I will send you for training to Dubai, I will send you for training to China, I will send for training abroad.
For training, they will stay back there.
And they say, you will get a job there.
They will get it? Will they
sometimes they get, sometimes they don't. But that's a general trend.
Okay.
Very few people get into a professional college which says, I'm training you for a job in industry in Nepal.
So you mean to say there is scarcity of manpower in?
Yes. And today with all these hotels opening, There is a huge shortage.
So how will they manage it? Because they are coming.
So what happens with international chains is they have a very strong L&D program, a learning and development program. So if there is churn, they are able to handle it because they have their training system set. They have trainers. Every department has a trainer. There's a training department which is done very nicely because they've been facing these issues. If you go to places like India, it's reverse. You know, when I used to head Solti for a certain period of time, I was a cluster general manager south with IHG, and the Crown Plaza Bangalore and the Crown Plaza Cochin used to report to me.
Okay.
Crown Plaza Cochin had a loyalty bonus which they would give to an employee if he survived 6 months.
Oh.
So Kerala and Cochin, people didn't even stay 6 months.
Oh.
Moment he joined, he got an employment certificate, he used to show that and go abroad. So if a person survives 6 months, we used to give him a bonus, a loyalty bonus and a certificate. And so when I was visiting that hotel as a cluster GM to oversee things, so they said, sir, today is a loyalty bonus giving day. I said, very good. I said, you know, I was very happy. I said, Solti also we used to give. So Solti we used to give 7-year award, 10-year award, 15-year, 20 years like that.
6 months.
6 months. And this is 6 months. And I asked the GM, 6 months. He said, sir, people don't even survive at 2.5 months. 6 months is very good. So we are recognizing that. So, you know, these challenges what we are facing today in Nepal, especially, so that's the advantage. You work with the brand.
So you'll increase more. This problem will increase
Yeah,
more.
it will increase. It will increase. Also, people need to pay much more. Today, we are not paying more.
So the cost is going to be higher.
See, the labor cost is something. It's linked to demand. So if you're going to have higher demand, people are going to work more. You have to pay more. So today, our salaries are far lower. You know, today I will tell you, I worked as general manager in a local property, in a branded property. When you get a foreign GM, you pay him more. Why should you pay him more? If you have a Nepali GM, why would you not pay him the same amount? He's doing the same work. His challenges are the same, but his salary is lower. And how is that lower? Foreign GM comes, you give him a house on the company. Why don't you give that to the Nepali GM?
No, I had asked this question to Mr. Prabhakar Rana and
Yeah.
some other hoteliers also.
Yes.
What they used to tell me is that first we don't want to have Nepali GM because they are not that much worth
Right.
in terms of their quality,
Right.
in terms of their communication.
Right.
They don't behave as their general manager. They
Right.
rather mix with the union people
Correct.
and things like that.
That's right.
So still not yet mature time to.
So, Madanji, if somebody has worked only in Nepal, he has all those connections and ties and things like that. But somebody who's worked abroad, who's delivering to foreign standards.
You mean to say you have to send your senior people to abroad
Yes,
also?
they have to work abroad. Or you hire Nepalese who are working abroad. But when you bring them back, you have to pay them that higher salary. For example, in IHG, we have 2 or 3 Nepali GMs. And they get the same pay as an Indian GM or as a foreign GM. But in Nepal, if a hotelier is hiring a foreigner, even an Indian, he is ready to pay him more, give him more benefits. But when he's hiring a Nepali, he is not ready to give that. So that is not correct.
I see.
Today, if you want talent, you have to pay for that.
Okay.
And so today, why does a Nepali want to go and work abroad? Because he gets a higher pay.
Payment is always related with your cost because if you start paying, you have to pay accordingly to other staff also.
See, today you have hotels in Nepal which are charging a bomb. The latest buzz. I just met a travel agent friend of mine, who's a very respected travel agent, Mr. Vijay Amatya,
Yeah.
and he told me he was in the US. He said in Washington, the only hotel in Nepal they talk about Nepal and they mention Chintamani. And Chintamani is in Jomsom, which is very difficult to reach. Half the day the flight doesn't fly from Pokhara to Jomsom. They sell at $1,500 a night.
Wow.
$1,500 a night, okay? And that's the most talked about property in the US. All right? And he says people are recognizing Nepal now because of Chintamani. That was his thing, and he's a very, very respected
Of
travel
course.
industry professional who's been in the industry for such a long period of time. So in an inaccessible place, people are so scared of flying in Nepal, you can only reach there by flight. If you take a road journey from Pokhara, it can take you anywhere from 8 to 9 hours, and many of the roads have landslides or bad roads. But that's selling at that price point, at that inaccessible place, and it is doing very good business.
But that's a rare example.
No, I know, but that is one example. So similarly, now there are several luxury properties coming up in Nepal. So when those properties come up, they will deliver on those standards. They will have all of this. For example, I was speaking to the general manager of the Intercontinental. He's just come on board, and he's saying, so he's looking for a top chef, and the chef's salary is maybe 4 times what any executive chef currently is getting. So when you get that kind of talent, then you can then deliver that kind of product, and you can charge that kind of rate. Now only the executive chef is going to get that, but then below him all the people are working, they're going to learn and they will deliver and then they will grow up. So,
Right.
you know, it is a chicken and the egg story. All this while, I think till Marriott was there, even 5-star hotel never crossed the $100 rate. All right. I think Marriott taught, Kathmandu at least, or Nepal today, that you can easily charge a higher rate and there's enough market at 70-75% occupancy, ready to pay for it. All right.
Yeah. So, what key challenges and opportunities do you see in tourism rejuvenation and development across South Asia, and let us talk about, of course, Nepal.
So, see, South Asia per se has really, the countries which have got their act together have started doing really well. Like today, Vietnam is suddenly the #1 destination in South Asia today, which is putting in huge numbers, and people are coming back with great experiences. All right. So it's become very experiential in nature. Indonesia has started doing very well. Malaysia rejigged their whole tourism thing, and they're doing. So a traditional, high point for tourism was Thailand. It's today not the #1 destination which it has always been.
Yes.
So now the Thais are kind of trying to change their whole approach, and they're trying to do things, but it's no more Thailand. It is Vietnam, Malaysia,
Laos.
Laos, Cambodia. They've started, getting their act together, doing things. So Nepal, I feel, needs to understand this and start doing a lot of things in that direction. We are a very fortunate, very blessed country. We have so much available. We don't have to create anything. It's there. Only thing I need to do is market it, provide some basic facilities, infrastructure it, and then it starts working. I'll give you an example. There are some friends of mine who had visited me some 3-4 years back, and then they came again, pre-COVID and post-COVID. And they come after COVID, they're telling me, Kathmandu is looking very clean. What did you guys do? And suddenly it struck me that, we didn't even realize, but today we have a much cleaner Kathmandu. Maybe due to the activities of the mayor, but he really cleaned up a lot of places, and that suddenly opened my eyes. Wow, it is a much cleaner place. So things like this. So today we have to understand what we want to do, and the areas we want to promote in tourism. We should do those areas up. For example, we don't have a sound and light show. At Hanuman Doka, we can easily put in a sound and light show. It's a very simple way to do it. Doesn't cost too much, and the returns are awesome. But we have somewhere to take people to. We shouldn't say that if you want to go in the evening, you either go clubbing, or you go to Tamil for drinking, or you go to casino. We should have other things, and we have a lot of history, a lot of culture. We can do a lot of things like that.
So, how do you foresee the post-COVID recovery process for tourism and hospitality industry in this region, and what strategies do you recommend?
So so if you see in this region, Nepal is a slow starter.
Yeah.
We started much slower. Even today, China numbers are not back to what they were pre-COVID in terms of sheer volume which was coming in. India, there's been a big bounce back, but we don't count Indians who are coming by road for tourism. If we did, it would make a very, very big difference. All right, and that would focus us. But what has started happening, if you see India domestic tourism per se, it's fantastic, it's mind-boggling. You should see, we are talking about a lot of people ask me, you also asked me this question earlier in the show, that there's so many hotels coming up in Kathmandu, is there demand? If you look at India, I'm talking to the brands, and I'm talking to all the top brands, most of them, in the first quarter of this year, signing was above 46 hotels, each one signed in India.
Wow.
So you can imagine how much that place is exploding. So compared to that, Nepal had 4 signings.
No, actually, India till recent few years back, they didn't have tourism that much,
True.
But now they are really
But
coming.
if domestic tourism in India is doing so well, Nepal borders 9 states of India. We can easily pull all those guys here.
Yeah, true.
All right. So
Right.
that's an opportunity for us.
Right.
China is a very big opportunity for us.
Yeah.
If we need to have very good relations with China so that, the tourism thing takes off. We're not doing anything in that direction. Thailand did China as the most favored policy. Indonesia did most favored policy for Chinese tourists.
Yes.
Now today we have a visa-free policy for Chinese, and the Chinese, their head, one of them was here for the Nepal Investment Summit, and he announced from next month it will be visa-free, cost-free visa for Nepalese to go to China.
Yeah.
So now Nepalese are planning to go to China for tourism,
Yeah.
but what are we doing? We're getting Chinese tourists to come into our country.
Right.
So we have things, but that whole effort has to be there, and we need to have a body which is beyond the ministry. Now our political system is such; it's coalition politics, and the country is very nascent, it's a very new democracy. So there are frequent changes, but that should not change the policy.
Yeah.
So that policy administration maybe is done by the Department of Tourism
Yeah.
in the government or the Nepal Tourism Board. So those things should not change. We should have a sign off from the political parties that this is a important thing for us. So we all agree on a common and minimum program for tourism, which nobody is going to change. It's like what the planning commission does. Once the planning commission thing is signed off, it doesn't matter the minister changes. That kind of spending is done. So similar thing we need to do for tourism. So if we do things like that, then the commitment is strong and it's going to do very, very well.
You talk about the sustainability in tourism
Yes.
last time also.
Yes.
So what roles does this sustainable tourism play in your vision for the future, and how can hotels and tourism businesses integrate sustainability in their operations?
So it's a very interesting question which you ask, Madanji. We have to realize in Nepal, my tourism 95% is outdoors. I don't have anything inside.
Okay.
If you go to Dubai, 90% of tourism is indoors.
I see.
There are different venues they've created where you go, except for the desert safari, which is
Yeah.
outdoors. Nothing is outdoors. All right, and Dubai has again got huge numbers for tourism. Okay, so we need to have very strong sustainable practices, environment protection laws to ensure that what we are offering to the world does not get depleted by over tourism. Sometimes when people talk about, oh, Nepal, we should do 2 million tourists, 3 million, 4 million, we can support 5 million. I always shudder to think what will happen. Because I will tell you, I will take a leaf out of India. When I was a kid, I've always lived in Delhi. And Delhi summers were very hot and unbearable. So we always used to run away to a place called a hill station.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's Nainital, there's Mussoorie, there was Solan, there's so many places. You'll be surprised, my children went to school in Mussoorie and I used to go to visit them, The Mussoorie hills are finished.
I see.
There is completely denuded, full of plastic waste, the trees have gone, there are frequent landslides and boulders falling and things like that. It's got finished because laws were not there. Today they made very strict laws. So today in Mussoorie you cannot make a new building, for example. An old building you can refurbish, but you cannot make a new building. Haphazard buildings started coming up, the tourism destination. Then there was no water, so they started recycling water. Then they pulled out pipes from everywhere. So those kind of things, Nepal today has to have very strong sustainable and green practices to ensure we preserve what we have. Otherwise, the next 20-25 years, it will be finished. It will be gone. Moment your Bhairava and Pokhara airports start operating, and after some time, it becomes the same speed as Kathmandu, you will get 3 times more arrivals coming in, and that will finish this country. So, one, we need to have very strong practices. The other thing is, there is a lot of lack of awareness of what I am doing, what is the consequence of that. For example, today, I don't have a very strict law or enforcement of that law that I need to treat my waste before I leave it in the water system. So what happens is I manage something, everyone's doing it and I just push it. Now all that waste is going to Bagmati. Any stream of Bagmati is so dirty and so polluted and nobody is saying anything about it. That is not correct. I need to be responsible, and for that I have to create awareness and I have to have a commitment to do it. So people don't know what is the action of that. For example, I have a laundry in a hotel. That laundry is taking out huge amount of pollution. It is not the solid waste. The solid waste which is generated from my guest bathroom, that is biodegradable.
Yeah.
It is not a chemical waste. It probably adds to fertilizer down the road
Yeah.
when the river goes. But that laundry chemical, for example, I'm releasing in that same water, that is killing a lot of the life there, all the
Yeah.
aquatic life and things. So that is very, very important for me to take care of. Today I'm very happy when I see so many electric vehicles on the road. We are doing better than India in electric vehicles. Delhi has far lesser electric vehicles. It's much more expensive to buy an electric vehicle. But a lot of people who buy electric vehicles, for example, some of my friends in Delhi, they say, no, I want to do for my environment because it's very polluted. So, but that kind of awareness is not here. We are buying electric vehicle because it is cheaper.
You said that we need less tourists who pay more money. I mean,
True.
So in that case, how will the small hotels or homestay or things will survive?
See, one, domestic tourism.
Mm.
We have to actively promote domestic tourism. We don't do that. It's due to COVID, a lot of things started. We have better vehicles now available. Now even there are bank loans available. So now people look at buying a car. Earlier, a car was a luxury in Nepal. People didn't buy cars. I used to have this term, I used to jokingly say, Gadi, Badi, both are same. How cost of a house and cost of a car is the same. Today that has changed a lot. A lot of people are now having cars. Now once you have a car, you want to go out. You want to travel out for the weekend. So domestic tourism is one which is going to make a lot of difference. The second is the volume we have to be able to control. Today if a person can pay 40,000-50,000 airfare, why would he then want to look at a budget accommodation and stay there? So we have to know how we are getting it, how the whole economics is working. I have a customer at every price point. So I have to know how much of customer at what price point I want to bring in. I give an example of Bhutan. Of course, Bhutan is a small country. It is a landlocked country. It has a lot of, rules, for example. But Bhutan doesn't see any cheap tourism coming at all.
No.
So why in Nepal we say we need cheap tourism? I can have domestic tourism. I can have some local tourism, bus tourism which is coming in. But that's all contained. In Delhi, all buses have to be on CNG or electric. There is no diesel bus in Delhi.
Oh, I see.
Yes, and so it is in all metro cities. Now in Nepal we can easily put a rule like that.
Right.
So then what happens? The passenger who comes on a bus gets off at the border, gets into an electric bus and is transported across Nepal. So I'm getting that bus tourist, but he's not polluting. Now he's going to come in at those smaller price things, but I'm able to control it. I know what price points I want for whom and have those things available. So this is how tourism gets regulated to benefit all segments of the economy. It's not that you only do high end and only benefit a few people. That is the unfortunateness of the Bhutan tourism.
I also want to discuss about some innovative practices
Yes.
or especially in technologies that
Correct.
you seen or implemented to
Yeah.
enhance the guest experience and
True.
operational efficiency in the hospitality industry.
So today, for example, AI is very, very big.
Okay.
All right. And today, for example, most people are glued to their mobile phones.
Yeah.
All right. So I can do a lot of things for my hotel on the mobile phone.
How?
The technology is available. For example, I can check into a room. Now today, when you are looking for a room, you don't have any way of knowing what is the view of that room. How is the bed there, what side it is, what it is. Once you go to the room, then you say, no, please change this, I don't want this, I want that.
So
and
you
things like that.
waste time. Yeah.
You waste time. So you can create these great experiences that this is your room, this is the view you will get from the room. All right. Then I can order a lot of things which are available on my phone. So I should be able to do that. Instead of that, I have to look for a menu. Then I see the menu, then I call up room service and I say I want this. So I can look at the menu, I can see what kind of pricing there is, what can happen. I can book tickets to a show which the hotel can organize for me. So the show is being run by somebody else, but the hotel can give me a transport, so I'll charge you so much for dropping you there and coming back, and I can pick you up later when the show is over. So a lot of options for customers which are there can be on the phone. So you have an app for the hotel, when you come in everything is on that. And today all hotels have RFID locks. Today you don't need a key, you can just use your phone and your lock will open.
Yeah.
It's safe, secure. So those kind of technologies, they're not expensive, they come in. Today you'll be surprised, an energy saving device. I was doing a new hotel with a brand, and the brand insisted you need to have this energy saving device in the room, where if there's no movement, all the lights, fans, everything will switch off, And they were very reluctant to put it, till I got in to say, listen, what is the cost of this? And they said the cost of device is nothing, it's about 15,000 rupees. But the problem, they said, no sir, but the problem is we've already finished all our wiring. So then I said, okay. So I told the brand, look, they've already done the wiring. And then we did a little more research. You could get a wireless device which cost you only 5,000 rupees more.
Oh.
So then the owner said, but I've already spent money, Upaul. Now you're telling me to spend 20,000 rupees more per room. So what I did a calculation for him based on some figures available, which showed how much money got wasted because in that device in the room, the guest left the key card on because when he came in, he wanted a cool room. Or he would put another card in the energy saving device, and it never got saved. So when I did the calculation, showed him 20,000 rupees he could recover in less than 6 months. And he's looking at a 20-year period. And I said, sir, that 20,000 you're trying to save, you are paying for that 20,000 2 times more every year for the next 20 years of your life. So, so this is how technology can help. It can help you increase your sales. It can help enhance your guest experience. It can help, cut your costs down. And these are where things are happening.
Right.
And it's available to the customer at the touch of a button when he wants it.
Right.
You don't have to invest in a smart salesperson who will engage you. Many hotels have this thing where they do a personalized check-in and they take you. Now the whole journey, maybe you're trying to get your phone to catch the hotel network, to catch up on your WhatsApp, to see who all called you, and this guy is going blah 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 blah, sir, hotel, we have a swimming pool, we have a this, we have that, would like to make a dinner reservation. Now some people like that, but a lot of people don't. So technology can help you in that. Cost is very little, but that gets enhanced. So the moment the guest comes in, you say, sir, can I just put this app on, and this takes you through your hotel. And that can be something really nice. And there you can have a pop-up thing which comes up.
So have other hotels here in Nepal implemented those?
Some of them are doing that, but not to that level like it is there. And the best is the technology is available. You can buy it off the internet. You can buy it off the net.
Okay.
There are service providers which are giving you, they log into your system, they maintain it also remotely. You send them the picture, they'll enhance it and put it back inside.
I see.
Everything, Like for example, why can't a hotel do a booking for a customer at LOD? I'm just saying, you're very proud, okay, we've got LOD. It's a great club. You want to go there for a drink, I can do a package for you. Now in LOD, if you buy a package, you get a table reserved for you, okay? But how many hotels know how to book that package? So I could do that for my guests because I knew the owners, I used to know the managers, I used to call them and do it. So there was a guest, he was so happy. I did a champagne booking for him and he had come with 20 friends.
Wow.
Okay, and I booked this prime table at LOD. He still remembers it. 3 years has passed. Whenever I go to Delhi, so Paul, yaar, tune wo kiya tha. Fantastic. So it was something which is available, which we can do to enhance the experience. But how do I tell that to a customer? How do I know he wants to celebrate something? So all of that can happen using these tools, which are AI today. Doesn't cost you so much. You get great language, great pictures. You just supply the raw material. It's going to happen for you. But my ability to put all this in front of the customer makes a lot of difference. My television is a great tool for me to advertise things.
Yeah. I forgot what was that, but when you were still in Solti,
Yes.
You had mentioned me that you have implemented some new technology
Yes,
there.
yes.
What was that?
So Solti, what used to be a very common problem, earlier was Wi-Fi, high-speed Wi-Fi.
Right.
So hotels provide one basic Wi-Fi, and if you want high speed, you have to pay for it.
Right.
Then after a period of time, it said no, if it's branded chain, it is free. You can't do. So at that time, we got one of the top technologies in Solti. So the owning company board invested nearly 3.5-4 crores to put in this technology. It was from Cisco. It was called a Cisco Meraki system. So before, people used to use this other technology where on every floor you put in one big device which used to work. All right. So I don't want to take brands, maybe they'll feel bad about it. I'm not promoting any brand here. But when you went in for this advanced system, it could tell me what is happening in every room.
I see.
And I could increase the bandwidth for a customer for something. So in Salty, for example, we used to have a lot of head of states visiting us. We used to do a lot of international conferences. So many of them needed much higher bandwidth in the suite where, say, the head of state was staying, or you'd set up a media room.
Yeah.
So with that, I could just a flick of a button increase the bandwidth. I'm charging for it.
Right.
My standard bandwidth is free for everyone, but if you want higher bandwidth, where maybe you want to connect to, send videos thing through satellite at a fast speed, you pay for it. We could do that. Then through that we could do a lot of local promotions. We could know which room internet is not working and what's the problem. Like many times what happens, housekeeping cleans a room, or as a guest you're pulling some wires out and all, and you accidentally disconnect the modem, or the plug is loose and is flickering. Now the guest will keep complaining till someone doesn't physically go to the room. He doesn't know what's the problem. Now in that you have a chart which comes out, and the program itself tells you that this room there's a problem with the net. So you fix it before. So a lot of intelligent things came out. So we invested in that, and from that day onwards, all over Salty, you had great network, high-speed network everywhere, which, it was a one-time investment, made a big difference. There was a big technology leap we took, and many hotels in India at that time had not done it. In Salty, we were anyways planning to change. So instead of going in for some other things, we just went in for the best, and
You are
that made
also
a massive
talking
difference.
something else as well, like some kind of software which would connect to different hotels outside the world, the customers, some different experience you had mentioned. I forgot it.
Yeah, so a lot of things, happen, but brands do a lot of that. See, all of these were all brand led. And that's why today I say promote a brand, because a brand learns in a market where it's getting beaten, but that learning is implemented in all the markets.
Right.
So those accessibilities are things which happen.
Since you are an advisor to Tourism and Civil Aviation Committee of
Yes.
FNCCI,
Yes.
So what key policy changes or initiative do you advocate for, to support the growth of tourism in Nepal?
So what we've been doing, we have a 7-point agenda which deals with what are the problem tourism entrepreneurs and industries facing. And every time, unfortunately we've had now 4 tourism ministers in the last elections.
Yeah.
We've gone and met every minister, every Sachiv, gone and presented these things, and then followed up on that to put those into action. And I think FNCCI, being the largest trade representative body for the country, has a huge clout as compared to maybe other organizations. But we took feedback from all these organizations. All the tourism organizations are represented on the committee. Our chairman, Mr. Deshbandhu Basnet, is a very dynamic, chair of the committee, and we put all the problems together and went to the government to request for solutions, got them to understand what's the gap.
What are that 7 points?
Several things are there. I don't want to speak about
One
it.
or two?
I don't remember right now.
Okay.
But one or two, like for example, we are charging a VAT on air tickets.
Yeah, that's very wrong.
Now that's so
The last
that does
budget
not
did it.
rationalize things. That's one of the things. So advocacy against things like that. Then we are trying to say, why can't we bring higher denominations of currency in the country? We are trying to promote MICE tourism, and one of them big things is wedding. Now, and weddings are only Indian weddings.
Yeah.
We are not getting too many foreigners coming here to wedding, but Indians want to come, and they are going to so many faraway places. But in every Indian wedding, people need to wear jewelry.
Yeah.
Now, as per Nepal law, more than 50-gram jewelry, you have to pay duty. But we don't have any system by which, if you're a tourist foreigner, you declare when you come in it's weighed, when you leave it's weighed. If there's a difference in weight, you charge the duty. But we don't have a way out for that. Of course, as hotels and tourism entrepreneurs, when you request the customs authority, we request them, look, there's wedding, this is happening, we give application, make representation, they are very supportive. They also understand that. But, we should have a law which says what you can do, what you can't do. And many times people come in, they don't know when they come in, they haven't declared. When they're going out, they've got stopped, they've got caught, and they said,
Very
look,
bad experience.
I have not bought anything from here, why not letting me go out? Same thing goes with currency. Today, I have a lot of friends who call me from India, and they say, Upaul, what about currency? I said, no, 500 rupee notes, please don't bring. They're not valid. And if somebody catches, the government, the Rashtra Bank passed a rule, you should confiscate it. They said, then what should we do? I said, 100 rupees. He said, Upaul, how much 100 rupees will come? So I said, better you get US dollars, up to $5,000 you can get.
Yeah.
And India dollar is convertible and
Yeah.
you can buy dollars and come. Nobody's confiscating the dollars. So Indians coming here, he's exchanging his dollars.
Yeah.
Now, thankfully, that QR code thing is
Yeah.
happening. So I hope it's going to pick up. But just now, we still don't know so much about it.
Yes.
But so these are the kind of issues which we've taken up with the government at a high level for people to understand what the issue is and to differentiate it between illegal activities and how do you make it legal. A lot of things like that. There's been a lot of remarkable improvement at the airport. We brought up issues where earlier, because you had one counter which said Indians, so that had a huge line, and other counters are empty, and they said, no, go to Indian counter, you're Indian. So that was something which you took up with some earlier ministers, and they said nothing doing. If the counter is empty, you should take anyone.
Yes.
So today they do that.
Right.
So that's a big advantage. So, we've seen a lot of results. That's made a lot of difference. We're also looking at certain parts of the FITA Act which limit, royalty payment at 5%, which is correct. But a lot of sales commissions are also being clubbed under royalty, which is not correct.
Right.
So we're trying to lobby with that with the government. We've done a lot of work to show how this is not there. There's still a decision which needs to come. The finance ministers have been sympathetic, tourism ministers have been advocating for it. Nothing has changed, but at least we are working on it. So these are some of the issues in that 7-point agenda which we've been trying to take up, and that makes a big difference to the industry.
So finally, anything you would like to talk or highlight when we talk about tourism, civil aviation, or hospitality industry?
So what I would say is that yes, we have a lot of things we expect from the government, but there's a lot of things we can do from the private sector also. All right. So I think that is where we should focus some of our energies on. Some of it is advocacy, working with the government to change things. But what are we doing to change our own mindset, our own thinking? The world has really moved ahead in business. So what are we doing to tap that and get that together? And I feel there tourism people can make a big difference. When we go as a tourism industry, it is not one hotelier, one airline guy, one travel agent, but the tourism industry of Nepal. And I feel that is where we can make a very big difference. We should organize fam tours. All of us should get together. Everybody will benefit. I just today in the morning I read West Bengal and Kolkata is doing a fam tour for MICE operators, which is meetings, incentives, conferences, exhibitions. So why can't we do a FAM for MICE, this thing? I don't need the government for that. But so there are today specialized travel agents who only do conferences.
I see.
And they do, and their bread and butter conferences. So they do maybe an average of 2 to 3 conferences a month. So that guy is sitting on a business of 24 to 36 conferences. So even if I get 3 from him, from one guy, my thing is done. But to make that happen, all of us, airline has to work together, hotel has to work together, the transport guys to work together, domestic airline has to work together, and then see. So if I get 20 of these guys and they give 3 conferences a year to Nepal, just 3, I've got 60 conferences, and that benefits everybody down the line. But what I've seen happening is one guy knows one agent, he'll get him. He'll go to hotelier, ये बहुत conference देगा, इसको free दे दे room. He'll go to the transporter, say, यार इसको give him something free. He will use his own influence, domestic airline, I'll give you some business, I've been giving you so much, get something free. But that is one individual doing for himself. We should do that together. So I don't see that togetherness coming together. That should be an agenda of all our associations, that we must do FAM tours, which expose our country. People come and experience what Nepal is all about. When I was with Solti and later also, I've influenced a lot of people to come and do things like this. And there have been people who come back who are travel industry professionals, who haven't sold Nepal for the past 10 years. Said, I came to Nepal 20 years back, I sold Nepal for 10 years, then things went down. He said, I'm amazed to see what all Nepal has to offer. And I'm happy I came on this tour because I could see what was happening. So today when a new hotel opens, they want business, so they organize this. So everybody loads them, you take care of FAM tours. Now in his budget he's put in, okay, I will host so many people free in that year. But what about existing hotels? So we should put it all together. And Hotel Association of Nepal, for example, says, I will give you so many nights for FAM tours. Nepal Airlines should say, I will give you so many tickets for FAM tours. Buddha Airlines should say, I will give you so many these things. And then let association bid for it. Not that I'm getting my own business clients and taking away this, bid for this and this is what I'm going to do. And I think something like that can make a very big difference to tourism in this country.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time and so insightful. You're putting all the best experience of this industry. Thank you very much sharing for that.
Thank you, Madanji. My pleasure to be here always, and so nice that that a prominent business house, media house is also thinking about tourism in Nepal and not just the other industries.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.